chaotic culture, that's the world we living in. So what's the word?
I really, really didn't want to do this, but I'm here now. So I got to talk about it. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Ked the Pro, once again from the Chaotic Culture Podcast. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week so far. Hope that your days are successful and bright. And once again, I just hope that you are having a wonderful life, guys. So, as y'all know, I'm a music head and I love music and I especially love hip hop. And despite what's been going on, yeah, I had to, I guess, listen for myself. So I am going to be talking about this Drake and PND album, some sexy songs for you, against my better judgment. But I mean, yeah. And I know I'm a bit late, like 2 weeks late, but I definitely wanted to at least get my thoughts off because something about this album really bothered me. Not so much that it Drake himself bothers me, even though a lot of the things Drake does bothers me, but still, I wanted to see if this album was really worth the hype and if it was really worth, putting it on certain playlists. I mean, we all grown here, or at least most of us are grown. So me being a music lover, when it comes to those activities, I love having music playing in the background, not just as a background though, but as something that would um, you know, add to the vibe and give me a little motivation if that makes any sense. Like hearing some great R&B while you're, in those kind of activities really stimulates me if that makes any sense. And I mean not just I know I'm sounding all kinds of crazy right now if you picking up what I'm putting down, but I'm saying that it's something that I love doing. Like anytime that I have music and playing while those activities are happening, then it really just adds to the overall mood and overall vibe. That's how much music means to me. But I don't love music just for that reason, obviously, but it does add to it adds to the activity. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So I was like, well, if this is that kind of album, I definitely want to at least check it out to see if there would be anything worth putting on my playlist. Now, for full context, I'm going to talk about it as if I listened with an open mind because I did. I gave it a chance. I gave it a couple of chances. And I have some thoughts, some very concerning thoughts. Now, mind you, I was not expecting this album to be thought provoking or something that would drastically change the nature and the culture of hip hop or R&B for that matter. I didn't expect this album to be profound or anything like that because Party Next Door even said himself, these are songs that you fornicate to. You know, don't expect anything other than that. And granted, I took him at his word, but just because these are songs that you can do the nasty to, that does not mean that they have to be bad. Like, I don't need my music to be profound, or I don't really necessarily need that kind of music to be, mind to stimulate my mind or to stimulate my soul or make me feel impassioned with vigor to fight against the powers that be. No, no, no. It's not that album is not on that kind of timing. What I do expect from the album and from the songs is for it to be good. That's all that I expect. I just want the music to be good when it comes to this kind of music. We have music for different emotions. We have it for different vibes. We have it for different situations. And for this situation, I just want my music to be good. Because if it's not good, I'm not going to play it. It's plain and simple. I'm just not going to play it. So, no, it doesn't have to be profound, but damn it, if it's not pleasing to my ears, I'm going to turn it off. But anyway, let me get off my soapbox. Let me at least start the conversation from my vantage point. So, obviously, I waited a week before I listened to some sexy songs for you. And yes, this might be me being a Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm like, I'm not going to add to the first week sales. But the main reason why I didn't want to do that is just to say that that's a bad faith argument. An album is not defined by its first week sales. It never has been and never will be. It is always defined but how well it stands the test of time. For example, Nas's Illmatic, one of the greatest, if not the greatest hip hop album of all time. Do you know what that album did in its first week? 59K, just 59,000. It did eventually go platinum, but the first week sales were terrible. And so I say that to say that this album is now looked at as one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time and is literally in the Library of Congress. So the first week sales should not determine how good or how great an album is going to be. And I had to say that because Drake fans have made that their entire persona. And then they tried, of course, to move the goalposts when it came to this album. Naturally, because when Kendrick Lamar dropped G and X, it did 319K its first week. And Drake fans and Drake stans and OVO and OVHOs were calling it a flop. And I just had to look and stare at them like, what? Do you know how hard it is for 12 songs, streaming wise, to get 319K in its first week? 12 songs generated 319,000 album equivalents. That is phenomenal. Off a 12-song album? Do you know how much in rotation the album has to be, on top of the fact that the album didn't drop at midnight the day it dropped on November 22nd. It dropped like midday. It lost 7 hours of streaming time, at least from a California perspective. So, yeah, like, come on, guys. 319K for a 12-song album, especially in the streaming area, in the streaming era, excuse me. That is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. Now, to call it a flop is crazy. But in context, Drake and Party Next Door album, it broke records in the first week. Well, in the first day. It had 93 million streams, maybe. And then, of course, those numbers nosedive. But still, I mean, despite all of that, it still garnered 246K album equivalents in its first week. Now, on the good side of that, that just gave PND his first #1 album. That's great. But is that really a good number for Drake and for Drake fans? Y'all were talking all of this nonsense and all of this rah-rah about first week sales, and yet a 21 album song only generated 246K versus a 12-song album generating 319K. I'm going to put that in context because in the streaming era, more songs on the record means more streams. So, 21 songs, 246K. 12 songs, 320K. I don't know about y'all, but for me, the math ain't math. And how is it that 246K is not a flop, but 319K is? I don't get that. And a lot of people were saying that's a low number for Kendrick. I'm like, the only album that did better in its first week was Damn. Because if we really think about it, going all the way back to Good Kid, Mad City, because I'm not including Section 80 in this, obviously, because that was still technically an independent album. But still, if we go all the way back to Good Kid, Mad City, it did lower than that. It hit somewhere in the 250K range. To Pimp a Butterfly in its first week garnered about the same amount as GNX, 325K. Damn is the only one out of all of those albums that did 630K its first week. And that was, of course, in combination of streams and the bundles, obviously. So I just think that this is such a bad faith argument from any fan that has this argument that first week sales means that the album is absolutely amazing and it is the greatest of all time and that it's not a flop. or if your first week numbers come out and it's a total flop. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's a ridiculous line of thinking because again, great albums are not measured by their first week sales. They are measured by how well they stand the test of time. And I have to ask, do you think this Drake and PND album will stand the test of time, or is it just another album to be in the streaming verse? Is it just here today and gone tomorrow? That kind of reminds me of a quote in one of Drake's albums, Nothing Was the Same. Only real music is gonna last. All the other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow. And this album was full of it. But I just wanted to get that out the way. Now, again, as I said before, this is P&D's first number one album. So definitely hats off to Party Next Door, man. He finally got a number one. Finally hit, 246K in the first week. Great. Those are great numbers. Don't let anybody tell you different. Those are very, very, very solid numbers for a lot of artists. Maybe not for Drake, who usually pulls off like 400 on average or 400 or 500K the first week on average, but he hasn't done that in a long time. I think the last album he did that was For All the Dogs, and then it just nosedived from there. But I mean, people still, for whatever reason, like that album. I don't know why. For All the Dogs is trash, but that's neither here nor there. Still, with this album, here's one of my biggest gripes. This album is 70% Drake, 25% P&D, and then 5% everyone else. This is supposed to be a collab album. This felt more like a Drake album featuring P&D, not in collaboration with P&D. I wanted more Party Next Door, yo. Yes, his last album was very questionable, but I still wanted to have more P&D and less Drake, man. Like, there were times where I was listening to these songs, I'm like, yo, Drake, shut up. Let me hear P&D. And I didn't get that. On this album, there were 6 solo Drake cuts. Do you know how many solo P&D cuts were on this album? 1. That's a problem. That is a problem. All I can say is wow. That is just absolutely mind-boggling that you call this a collaboration album, but in actuality, it's just a Drake album with P&D, playing background vocals for most of it. It really, 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 really just bothers me that this album did not include more P&D. Like, I could understand if it was like 50% Drake, 45% P&D, and then 5% everybody else. He doesn't have to be the most prominent artist on the album, but damn, bro, let that man sing. That's another thing, yo. I just want to say that Drake really can't sing. I'm just gonna throw that out there, yo. This is more of a crooner album, but even the crooning from P&D was at least sort of kind of decent, even though a lot could have been done with that. But with Drake's crooning, it was absolutely not. Like, I don't know. Maybe we liked the crooning a little bit more when it was in conjunction with rap. Like when Drake was able to blend the crooning with, actually rapping, it's okay. But Drake with the melodies right now is maybe we lied, y'all. Maybe we really don't like Drake with the melodies. But that's just what I noticed throughout this album. Anyway, also, was a very, very, very boring project. Like, just very, very boring. We say that these are songs that you can, fornicate to, and I want to say that the majority of these songs I would not put on my playlist. I'm gonna just be real. And the other big part of that is just because a lot of the songs on there are just not cohesive. They're not cohesive lyrically. They're not cohesive production wise. There were times where the beats would switch, and having a beat switch in a song is fine, but when it's not cohesive and it doesn't make sense, that shit irritates the hell out of me. Like, it absolutely irritates me. There was a reason why when I was 5 songs into this album, I was pissed off. I'm like, yo, can I get some kind of cohesiveness from my music? I don't want to be playing no song in the background that I'm doing some questionable activities to, and yet the song absolutely breaks my rhythm. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel. Maybe y'all like having sex to boring ass music, I mean, by all means, I've seen some people who do some crazy things to crazy like different kinds of music. Like I came up in an area where the stoners at my college would smoke to stoner music, but you get around a bunch of YNs and they smoke to to drill music or stuff that you could get turned up to. That's not the kind of era I'm from. You know, I'm from the blogger area. Or at least I was in college during the blogger area. So the blogger era. Ugh, I'm twisting up my words, y'all. Excuse me. But still, I come from that generation where I went to college during the blogger era. And so we had the Wiz Khalifa's, the currencies, of course, the Two Chains when he was really breaking out. We had Kendrick Lamar when he was first coming up, and we had early Drake that was, giving us those cuts. We had a lot of music to pull from that kept us in a mellow mood, but that's besides the point. The point I'm making is that I need my R&B and I need my slow jams to be cohesive. Even if there is a beat change, I just need something that stays consistent. There's a reason why TV Off, for example, with Kendrick Lamar, there's a beat switch, but it's cohesive. There's a lot of Kendrick songs that have beat switches in their songs, but it makes sense. None of that happened in this album except for one song, and we'll get to that a little later. Anyway, as far as Drake's albums have been recently, I have been utterly disappointed. I'm just gonna be real. I've been disappointed. I've honestly have been disappointed since Scorpion, maybe even further back than that. I think I've been disappointed with Drake since Views. Now, a lot of people love Views and whatnot. It's one of his biggest albums, but for me personally, I thought Views was bloated. I've warmed up to it since then a little bit, but in the beginning, oh, I couldn't stand Views. I was like, yo, this is a whole lot of fluff. And that's when I started to notice that Drake likes to fluff out and, a lot of his albums with just, I don't know. It's some of these shits is unnecessary, bro. It's like you're padding your album with stuff that's filler. A lot of these songs you don't have to put on these albums, bro. But because of numbers, obviously they're going to get spins, they're going to get sales, and so on and so forth. But still, yeah, I think Views is really like the first time I've noticed that Drake was padding his albums with filler, and that trend continued. I liked More Life, but More Life kind of just really felt like a filler album, but I understood that. Dark Lane Demo Tapes was ass. Certified Lover Boy, ass. Honestly, never mind. It's still by far his worst album ever. Then, of course, you've got Her Loss, which was meh. Then For All the Dogs, ass. And now this. And yeah. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go ahead and at least talk about all the songs on here, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I'll let y'all be the judge to see if you think that I'm biased or if you think I'm actually making any good points. So again, I listened to this with an open mind, and here are my thoughts. Let's start with CN Towers. CN Towers was actually a decent opening. I thought that Drake and PND really did a good job with that opener. I liked it. It flowed well. It was smooth. It didn't stay too long. Okay, so we're starting off really good. Mothballs. Oh God, how do we get a fall off on the second track of the album, bro? How? How? That's all I want to know is how. And then on top of that, there was a terrible transition between the beats. I'm just like, okay, wow. Okay. I really am not revisiting that song ever again. I'm just being real. And then there was something about you, and it's the same exact issue. The terrible transitions, the shitty lyrics, it gets repetitive. There seems to be no progression throughout the song. And I'm just like, okay, moving on. Crying in Chanel. I hate repeating myself. Same issue. I, I don't know. Like, and this is when I really noticed that, like Drake really, really can't sing, and he hasn't been able to like really sing on this album. Because all I hear or I remember from that song is crying now. It's like, oh my god, turn this shit off. But anyway, yeah. Spider-Man and Superman, that song actually flowed a little better. I'm like, okay, here's another like decent track. I'm not gonna say it was like phenomenal or great, but I mean, at least it flowed better than a lot of the songs that he put on there. Okay, fine. Deeper. This was the solo cut by PND. I would actually put this song on a playlist. At full stop, I would put Deeper on a playlist. I'm just letting you know right now. That one is great. And then we got Small Town Fame, and I just want to say that that shit was garbage. No, like I no. It's just like why? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. There's no point to that song. Then we got Pimmy's Dilemma featuring a new artist by the name of Pimmy. Not a bad interlude. I actually want more from her. And, despite the the auto tune that was used in the song, I can still hear her singing, clear the auto tune. So I can tell that she's actually a really decent singer. I want to hear more of that. And then there's Brian Steele. All right. First off, this felt more like a rap song than it did an actual R&B song. There's that. Second, make up your mind, Drake. This song is like full of contradictions. Like, are you heated from the beef? Or are you vegan? Which is it, bro? Come on, man. They try to tell you to turn away from the beat. You say, I can't. I'm heated now. Then all of a sudden in the next line, you say, you vegan now. Which is it, bro? Which is it? Make up your mind. Are you going to continue with this or is it done? We all know how petty Drake can be, but it just seems like this song is just full of contradictions. And then there's Give Me a Hug. Now, I know a lot of people were hyping this song when it first came out, but this song has a lot of issues. And yeah, I gotta start. First off, the lack of self-awareness on multiple fronts in this song is absolutely astounding. It just seems that Drake cannot read a room and he does not have any self-awareness whatsoever. I don't know if it's I really don't know, man. This you would think that a 38-year-old would be able to recognize when to leave well enough alone, but anyway, the first thing that bothered me about this song, of course, were the shun raps. Once again, the TION raps, Drake intimidation, Drake elimination. I'm like, bro, are we really doing this again? This how I know that Drake actually did write the song because I heard that. Like, come on, bro. Some of us are really tired of that same exact flow, bro. Like, you can switch it up. We know you have the capabilities to do so. Give us something different, man. Anyway, once again, that was the first thing. Uh the other thing was the anti-intellectualism within this song. Now, the first thing that Drake said that really like made me like, dude, what was the fact that he said the reason why he will never get married is because he has to continue doing what he does. I know I'm paraphrasing, but I just had to look at this and be like, bro, what? So you are saying that you will never get married because you have to stay at the top no matter what by putting out these quote unquote club songs and giving the kids or whoever the shit that they can dance to. Like, bro, you're not gonna be on top of the game forever, bro. That's just how hip hop works, man. There's somebody that will eventually take your place. It's going to take a while because yes, Drake has been on top for the latter half of 15 years, but still, eventually his time will come and go. And judging from the music that he's been releasing, it's probably going to happen a little sooner rather than later. But still, it just seems like he cannot get over the fact that somebody actually, toppled him and is doing better than him on the charts and in the clubs and just overall in music right now. It's like he has not gotten in his head that, hey, a better artist actually toppled you. And it's very, very, very evident in this song. Also, he seems to have this thing where he's like, "Oh well, if I'm not in the game, then you gonna have girls on stage twerking with a dictionary." And I'm just gonna say it like this: twerking with a dictionary, bro. The anti-intellectualism in hip hop has to stop. It just has to, bro. You have music and you have different subgenres of hip hop for everything. And on top of that, Drake, you do not have a monopoly on club music, bro. You just don't. There are plenty of people out there who have been dropping bangers in the club, bro. You don't have like the top of the market, at least not anymore. Yes, you were at the top at one point. You could be played in the club and whatnot. Nowadays, it just feels like your music can be played on a shopping mall as the background, but that's neither here nor there. It really bothers me that he thinks that he just has this stranglehold on music that can be played in the clubs. And he's asking the question, well, what y'all gonna do without me? I'm like, bro, the hip hop world is thriving very much without you right now. Are you a important key, an important cog in this machine? Yes. But you act as if hip hop will die the moment that you will, stop making music, or you act as if club music is gonna die the moment that you stop. And I'm just like, nah, that's not the case, bro. You think way too highly of yourself, bro. And I really wish he would humble himself, but Drake does not know the meaning of the word humble. But anyway, let me move on from that. The line that really, really caught my attention, and I'm pretty sure it caught everybody's attention. F a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. Okay. Two reasons why I'm bothered by that line. One, Drake, you didn't win the beef. You got your ass handed to you, bro. It was a massacre on all fronts. I'm not saying that Drake didn't drop great diss songs. It's just that K. Dot dropped better songs. And it's been proven that these songs are way better than anything that Drake has dropped throughout this entire beef. Do not get me wrong. I like push-ups. Family Matters would be better if Drake actually just decided to pay attention to Dot and not turn his focus to people who don't matter. And then, of course, we have the tailor-made freestyle, which was terrible. And then on top of that, we had the Heart Part 6, which was even worse. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not taking anything away from Drake and his artistry and his lyricism when he puts effort into it. The problem with this line, again, is that one, you lost. Two, you talking about fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. You are literally suing. Oh my God, bro, you are suing UMG for not like us. This line, oh my God, bro. Like, you trying to get the party lit, but you suing? That is like, that is so antithetical that I can't wrap my brain around it, bro. It's just hearing that line made me look at Drake like, bro, what? Everything that you are doing right now is not hip hop. Yes, hip hop has, again, different elements to it, including party elements. But you out here saying, fuck a rap beef. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the party lit. I'm not bothered by it. But clearly you are bothered by not like us. You have been bothered by this beef. And every time that you say that you're not bothered, you do something else that makes people realize, no, you really are bothered. Bro, come on, dude. Come on. You literally included the Super Bowl into this lawsuit now, saying that it continues to damage you. But yet you want to say, fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. Nigga, sit your dumb ass down, bro. Oh my God. That line irritated me. All right. That part of the rant is over. This whole Give Me a Hug song just really sounds like them desperate where my hug at niggas. And y'all know how we feel about them type of niggas around here. So I'm going to just leave it at that. It really just sounds like Drake is crying for attention. But the pièce de résistance out of this whole song is at the end using that Aaron Hall sample. And that really solidified that Drake cannot read the room. Mind you, Aaron Hall was a great R&B artist, And I actually like the song I Miss You. However, using an Aaron Hall sample when he's got a lot of controversies out there, including lawsuits of the sexual nature, Aaron Hall is a predator, or at least he is an alleged predator. And what was not like us about Drake? You really not beating these allegations, bro. Why would you do that? I I don't know. I couldn't tell you, bro. There was a way to sample that song without it really like actually making Aaron Hall's chorus that prominent. You could have found a better way to sample that song. But what's done is done, and it's already done. Apparently, some of y'all like that song out there, but I'm just kind of like, no. Anyway, the next song is Raining in Houston. Not worth talking about. Next song, Lasers. Oh, we finally got a good song that I could put on my playlist. I actually like this song. Well, hand clap to Drake and PND because Lasers is actually something that I could see myself doing that to if you picking up what I'm putting down. But anyway, moving on. Meet Your Padre is the absolute worst song on this album, and I do not understand why Drake decided that this would be a good song to put on this album. The lyrics are trash. The accents are trash. The singing is even worse. He would have been better off deleting this song, and my ears would have been saved. Instead, they painfully listened to this song from start to finish. And when I say that I will never play this song ever again, and if you play this song in my car, I'm literally tossing you out the whip. Ejectocito, cuz you will not play this song in my car ever. Do not play this in my house. Do not play this at my cookout. Do not play this when it's sexy time. No, do not ever play Meet Your Padre around me. That shit is terrible. Next. Oh, Nokia. Nokia actually might be the best song on the album. Some of the transitions still bother me, but Nokia is decent. However, there's some controversy behind this song too. It seems that the first half of the song might have been stolen again from another artist. And that artist actually was this is crazy talking about, bro. How are you a victim of getting your song stolen by Drake yet again? So apparently the first part of this song was stolen from Drum. So once again, Drake sees a song that Drum has created, snatched it, and made it his own. I don't know about you, but yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But Nokia is actually still a banger song. I just hate the fact that Drake has to once again steal from Shelly, aka Drum, and turn something that he created and take credit for it, and now it's a hot song. Yeah, Drake, I'm sorry. My respect for you has gone down the tube. But anyway. And then we get Die Trying. Oh, Die Trying is actually a cohesive song that doesn't switch beats unnecessarily, goes from start to finish, and actually has a point, and the lyrics actually make sense and they're not contradictory. It's a decent song. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Celibacy. Oh, well, he mentioned Not Like Us. Corny. And then once again, there's a beat switch and it gets to P&D's part. And it sounds like a completely different song. Are y'all seeing where I'm getting frustrated at? Do y'all see like how infuriating this could be for like musicians like me who play instruments and actually listen to music consistently? When we get stuff like this, it's really just like, okay, it's one thing for the lyrics to be the way that they are, but when your transitions are shitty, and then when you beat switch into a song that absolutely has nothing to do with the title of the song, What was that for? You easily could have just split this song in half and gave another deep cut or another single solo cut to P&D, and it would have been a completely different song. Anyway, back to On My Way. Simple lyrics. Nothing I will go back to. Glorious. Is that Ice Spice talking uncredited? And then why is Drake flowing like her? And it goes back to the point that Drake is a colonizer, because you stealing beats, you stealing music, not and you stealing flows and stealing accents. It's like, bro, come up with something on your own. It's crazy, bro. Out here sounding like Ice Spice and Central C. It's Come on, man. Be original. That's all that I ask, is be original. And here's the weird thing about this song. Did you really just ask Shawty, who got kicked out of her mama crib, where she about to go? Drake, you are 38 years old. Why the hell are you talking to a girl who got kicked out of her mama crib? Why are you talking to a girl who's young enough to get kicked out of her mama crib? Bro, you are not beating the allegations, my boy. Come on, dude. Anyway, then there's When He's Gone. It's Dirty Mac and done wrong, in my opinion. I really just don't have any opinion of the song. It's just kind of there. It's forgettable. And then finally we get to Greedy, which is actually a decent closer and could possibly go on my playlist. So overall, I've named 4 songs that can go on my playlist, and maybe one that was decent. So I'd say Deeper can go on my playlist, Lasers can go on my playlist, Greedy can go on my playlist, and Seeing Towers was a decent song. And then of course there was Nokia, which is the best song on the track. But in any case, that is what, 5 out of 21 songs. 5 out of 21 songs. That's less than 25%. Less than 25% of an album. That was decent. I don't know about y'all, but yeah. In any case, guys, that is pretty much how I feel about some sexy songs for you. I feel like it's really some, I'm gonna say some sleepy songs for you. Because this feels like it's very, very complacent. And I can tell that Drake has been dialing it in for a while, and he's not really putting any effort into this, and that really bothers me, because for me personally, when you put effort into something, we can see it, and I can just tell that Drake really didn't put any effort into this. This felt like a whole bunch of throwaway tracks, and then decided to slap P&D on them. I'm just being real. None of this would, fit my personal playlist. Maybe it'll, do your some wonder. Maybe you like boring ass music that you can have sex to. If that's your MO, if that's your steez, then by all means, y'all got it. I personally can't do it, but if that's how you want to roll, then by all means, I am nobody's judge when it comes to bedtime activities. But still, for me, I ain't putting this shit on any playlist except maybe 3 of the 5 songs that I said that I liked. 3 of those songs can go on my playlist. The rest, trash. Absolute trash. I just really want Drake to put in some effort again, bro. And maybe he's not motivated. Maybe he needs the proper motivation, or maybe some actual proper inspiration. Instead, it seems like he's still trying to pander to those 20-year-olds out there and trying to keep up with the young folk. And I'm like, bro, Drake, you are 2 years away from 40. A lot of hip hop artists don't talk about the same shit that they went through when they were in their 20s and 30s. Come on, dude. Nas on Life is Good did not talk about the same shit that he went through on Illmatic. Jay-Z on 444 did not talk about the same shit that he went through on Reasonable Doubt. And yet here you are making the same shit for all of your albums. It's really like the content within your albums, from Some Sexy Songs for You and Thank Me Later, there's no difference. That's a problem. it shows that there's no growth in the person and there's no growth in the music. And I think that people are really starting to get the hint. Now, mind you, there's still going to be those OV hoes and those Drake gr- glazers who will say that this is one of the best albums of the year and give you that bullshit. But truthfully, in my honest opinion, a genuine person who loves music and appreciates music and the art of music will tell you that this did not hit it. This missed the mark by a mile. Granted, is this Drake's worst album ever? No. I would still say, honestly, Nevermind is still Drake's absolute worst album ever. However, I can personally tell that Drake is not inspired. He's dialing it in. He's not really doing anything different or being creative. And that's really what's bothering me. You can tell it in the tone of his rapping. You can tell it in the tone of his crooning. You could tell it in the tone of all of his lyrics. It just seems that dude has no space to grow as an artist. And that for me is very, very troubling because I don't know about y'all, but I like Drake from the past, but I want my artist to grow with me. And it just seems that Drake was not willing to grow with his core audience that started with him at the very beginning. And I'm talking like even before So Far Gone. We talking about mixtape Drake when he was coming up, man. When people were following him from there all the way to So Far Gone and Thank Me Later and throughout that first 3 or 4 album run, like it seems that he's abandoning that core part of his audience. And I feel left out, man, because I love Drake, man. Nothing Was the Same is still my favorite Drake album to this day. I still bump If You're Reading This Is Too Late. I will still go back and listen to Take Care. I don't really listen to Views because, in my opinion, I've said it before, it's bloated. And then anything after that, I don't even touch anymore. I may have touched it once or twice, and then after that, I'm like, nah, this ain't it. So that's just how I feel. And Party Next Door, I can't really say too much about him on this album because, frankly, he wasn't on the album enough for me to critique him on. There are a couple songs where I'm like, the crooning could maybe have been a little better, but it felt like he was such a background character on this album that I really can't critique whether he did a decent job or a terrible job. But for me, yeah, this was not good. If I had to give it a score, I'd say 3.5 out of 10. And will I ever revisit this album again? Absolutely not. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Drake and PND's album, Some Sexy Songs for You. Let me know, was I tripping? Let me know what your thoughts are on this album. If you loved it, great, good for you. Tell me what are some of the things that you loved about it. If you disliked it, please also let me know some of the things that you disliked about this album. Anyway, this is not an official podcast episode. I just wanted to put this out on YouTube so that way I can share my opinion on this. Again, I know I'm like 2 weeks late, but still, I'm a working guy. And unfortunately, this was the only time that I could really get a chance to sit down and actually record this video. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Thank you for checking it out. Please, if you want more content from me like this, then please like the video, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Definitely tune in to the Chaotic Culture podcast. I've got more interviews coming up. We got more topics to talk about. Trust me, the content is coming, and I promise you, it is content worth your while. We've got people that are worth listening to, and especially in this climate that we're in, it's very important that us as Black people continue to strive for better and continue to go out here and do the things that we love because we never know what tomorrow may hold, and we never know if we are able to do the things that we love or turn dreams into reality. Let's turn dreams into reality. With that, guys, be sure that you like and share and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Please be sure that, of course, you subscribe to the YouTube, as I just said. You can check us out on Facebook at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can check us out on Instagram and Threads at Chaotic Culture Pod. You can check us out on Blue Sky at Chaotic Culture. You can check us out on X/Twitter at Chaotic Culture 1. You can follow me, of course, Ked the Pro. That's K3D the Pro on all social media. You can check out all my co-hosts on all their social medias as well. I've said it ad nauseum at this point. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to this review. As always, guys, embrace the culture, chaos rules. Be blessed, be safe. God is love. And I am out of here. Deuces. More gunshots. Yes, yes. All right, guys. Y'all be easy. Y'all have a good night.
So what's the word?
You are now tuned in to the Chaotic Culture Podcast. And